Hello and welcome to our video series which sees me, Creative Head Editor Amanda Nottage, chatting to some of the leading Wella creatives from across the industry. I'm going to be delving into their career paths, their inspirations, their workspaces and whatever else might pop up during our little conversation. Now joining me today is International Technical Director at Toni&Guy and Wella Professionals Colour Creative, Miss Siobhan Golden. Hello Siobhan.
Hi Amanda.
Lovely to have you with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I'm going to have to ask, such beautiful hair colour yourself, what was it about hair and about colour in particular that spoke to a young Siobhan?
So I started hairdressing when I was 14 as a Saturday girl, like a lot of other hairdressers. And I worked for Toni&Guy, I still work for Toni&Guy. And in the salon, I would be at the basin shampooing, and we had Toni&Guy TV on, so I was always a little distracted by that in the background. And they used to play these videos of Fashion Week or events or things that Toni&Guy art directors were doing, and there just seemed to be so much opportunity. Plus then, working in a salon with all these really cool hairdressers, it just felt like something I wanted to be part of. I didn't know that I specifically wanted to do colour, but as soon as they started bringing out the case studies, I was like, this is me. I love this.
If you had to choose one highlight from that Toni&Guy career so far, what would you choose?
It's so difficult because there's so many different aspects of the job that are highlights. For example, travelling. I've just been like everywhere. I've been to Australia, I've been to Israel, I've been all over, and you get the most incredible opportunity to travel and to experience different cultures and meet different hairdressers. Then there's the work itself, doing shoots, doing really nice clients in the salon. This is all brilliant. But even apart from all of that, I've met the most amazing friends at Toni&Guy and in the hairdressing industry. My best friend, my fiance, my whole group of friends are all from hairdressing. And I think that's one of the most incredible things about our job.
Now, from those friends and outside that little circle in the industry as a whole, if you could choose anybody to be in the Siobhan Golden dream team, who would you be choosing?
It's so hard. Now it's like, oh no, it's not who I put in, it's who I leave out. I don't want to leave anyone out.
It's an evil thing that I ask people to do, but I'm asking it.
Okay, well I'll keep it small.
Okay.
I'll say that my colour team would be my buddy Francesco Fontana, who's also an art director at Toni&Guy. My best friend, Michaela Olivieri, she's also a session stylist and an amazing colourist.
Brilliant.
For styling, I would ask Eugene Solomon to art director. Not that he knows who I am, but I would still ask, you never know.
Exactly.
And then I would have to say I'd have my fiancé Philip Howe do the haircuts.
Oh. Would you be in trouble if you left him out?
Most probably, yeah.
Fair enough. We'll include
He might be upset he's not art directing it.
And looking back at that incredible Toni&Guy career, who would you say, at Toni&Guy, or maybe even with your affiliation with Wella, who has perhaps been your most important mentor so far across your career?
It's such an easy answer, and it's Kos Sakas, who is Head of Education for Toni&Guy. And he taught myself and the rest of our team how to demo, how to teach, but also how important the small details are in everything, from your salon or academy environment to a show or a seminar, that whatever it is you're doing, those small details are so important to getting the best out of whatever it is that the project is. On top of that, he's an amazing hairdresser and he's really good fun on a night out.
He is good fun. God bless Kos. Now, you were chatting to me off camera a little bit before about a very busy time that's coming up for you with lots of shoots.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you, when you've got all these shoots coming up, where do you go for inspiration? Do you have a particular kind of space where you go and be quiet and sit down and find your references? How do you approach a shoot?
So it's interesting. I was thinking about this before I came in because it's something we get asked a lot about, is creativity. And hairdressers tend to be very creative people, of which I would definitely say I am one. But I'm also quite an organised, structured person in a lot of ways. And I take that approach even to creativity, which some people probably roll their eyes out, but you are who you are. And for me, to get into a creative space, I tend to have a lot of thoughts in my head, a lot of concepts or ideas or visuals that walk into my head. But to make sense of it, I need space, I need quiet time, and I need to structure it. So sometimes that's literally writing things out in sentences or words or whatever it is. Sometimes it's collating pictures. Sometimes it's mind mapping. I am quite structured, and I need to see it written out. I need to see those thoughts written out to be able to then channel that into something else, even when it's something like a sectioning pattern or a technique. So probably a little bit different from a lot of hairdressers, but that's the interesting thing, isn't it? We all have such different approaches.
Everyone's unique.
Yeah.
And I love to hear about everyone's different approaches. In the industry right now, we keep hearing about something of a crisis in terms of attracting young people into hairdressing. Now, as an educator with Toni&Guy, what do you think we should be doing to illustrate just how amazing a career in hairdressing can be?
I'll be honest, I feel as hairdressers, not just educators, but as hairdressers, that we do a lot of illustrating what a great career it is. We all use social media. We all, love different aspects of our job, whether that's doing really beautiful hair in the salon or traveling or doing session or doing fashion or whatever it is that you do. Actually, I feel like the push to help people realise about apprenticeships needs to come from society. It needs to come from schools. It needs to come from parents. There is such a stigma still about leaving school to do an apprenticeship, and this whole thing of having to stay on or do your training, in more of a structured school environment. It's just crazy, because hairdressing is a physical, practical job, and the opportunities are endless. It just feels so obvious. So I feel sorry for teenagers that don't get the opportunity to see that, because they're being pushed in a different direction. Uni's amazing when you've got something specific to study, but when you don't, like me, I didn't know what I wanted to study. Hairdressing was just such a fantastic career, and I just wish that as society we would just recognise that a little bit more and say, like, blimey, these hairdressers are really good, look what they're doing and look what they're earning, or, and give that recognition.
An absolutely wonderful answer. Thank you for that, Miss Golden. Now, you mentioned there social media and using Instagram to share all the amazing things that hairdressing can offer.
Yeah.
As somebody very senior at Toni&Guy, how do you feel about its role in the industry? I mean, do you have days when you love it and days when you're like, oh my goodness, it's driving me crazy because the pressure's on to keep sharing?
Yeah, ultimately I think it's bloody brilliant. Like, social media it's free branding, it's free promotion, it's a free way to kind of publicise what you're doing. It's created this amazing community. I feel like the hairdressers I know outside of Toni&Guy, I actually feel I know them because of literally Instagram, not even social media.
Yep.
Commenting, talking to them on their pictures, and now when I see them at events, we get on really well and we have really nice chats, and we already feel like we know each other even when we don't that well. Having said that, obviously, social media is about a balance, isn't it? And you have to find out what works best for you. Some people share it all. Is it just for work? Is it for personal? I know for myself, I'm still trying to find that balance. How much do I actually want to share? I do always have a bit of an internal battle of like, no, I don't quite want to share that, which is maybe not the right approach, because I think social media, you do need to be quite open. Right. But you have to find what works for you. Ultimately, it's a fantastic tool, and I love sharing what I'm doing. What
would you say is the skill that you have learnt that's most valuable to you, has nothing to do with hairdressing?
I have a definite answer to this, because this has actually been something that's been on my mind probably over the last year. You know how you sort of learn things about yourself as life goes on, or you're in situations and you realise things. And one of the big things that I've realised that I've been working on is patience.
Okay.
And patience it sounds like a funny thing to say, but in everything, in waiting for a response from someone, in judging someone's reaction to something, in, sorry to bring it back to hair, but in a colour development or an application. A lot of problems that we have in everything, not just in hair, but in everything, is because we're too quick. We want a quick response. And actually, sometimes I literally have to catch myself and go, just wait a second. And then I wait a second and it's okay. Or whatever it is, the situation unfolds, or the colour develops beautifully. So yeah, patience is my word that's in the back of my head at the minute. Be patient.
I'm liking that, and I'm taking that, and I'm going to use that. we've been talking about the shoots that you're about to start working on. When it comes to pulling references and looking at different times from across the years, where do you go for sources, and what kind of eras best kind of interest you and get your creative juices flowing?
So as a company, we've had quite a year of reflection. Our founder, Toni Muscolo, passed away in 2017. And so we had quite a year of looking at Toni&Guy's heritage and images that we created over the year and what Toni's legacy meant to us as an art team. We've sort of come full circle. We've come through that. And now 2019, working towards a 2020 collection, I and the art team really feel that now it's about what's happening now.
What is it that your clients are asking for? Are you seeing regular kind of themes or commonalities from the clients that you see?
And I have two different jobs. So I work in Wigmore Street in Marylebone, which is a really conservative area, and I work in our academy, which is really creative. So from an academy perspective, my clients there are my models. And I can definitely tell you that I see an awful lot of saturated metallics. So we're doing a lot of like blues, greens, turquoisey, peacocky tones, like a really big amount of it. And it's not me pushing it, it's my models asking for it. So that for me is the first sign. It's beautiful because it's shiny, it's healthy, it's glossy. And particularly within the Wella portfolio, there's a lot of those colours that gives you quite a lot of free range of what you can create. In Marylebone, there's none of that. But I love that. In Marylebone, I do a lot of baby lights, beautiful tints, but it's just such a lovely thing to do. I had a client in on Saturday and she had a huge regrowth and faded out ends, and really simply we just did like a really beautiful level 6 tint, baby lights around the hairline and a little bit of balayage through the back, and it all just felt so simple and beautiful doing it, and she walked out with her hair like whew, and that was just so satisfying. So I think just beautiful hair really, isn't it? Shiny, healthy, gorgeous hair, it's just what people want.
Looking to the future, you've already achieved so much. Do you have a few things left on that to-do list?
I feel like I'm at the bottom of my to-do list and I've got a huge big list in front of me. There's so much that I want to do and there's so much I want to get better at. I love teaching, I love that aspect of my job, but that is what I do day to day. So I do feel like I do it well, but there's a lot of things that I don't do day to day that I want to get better at and do more of, you know, whether that's like long hair, dressing hair, more client-focused hair. I'm trying to push myself. I think with hairdressing, whatever age you are, whatever stage in your career you are, you have to be like, okay, what can I learn now? Because you really quickly become static and not moving anymore and not exciting without even realising it because you're not moving forward. So I'm watching quite a lot of online tutorials, some interesting ones out there. There's quite a lot actually online at the minute, which is fantastic. Talking a lot with my colleagues, trying to get as much out of inspiration and ideas out of them as I can. So just trying to have my eyes open a little bit.
Plenty still to do.
There's plenty to do.
Oh, Siobhan, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For spending some time with us before you go off and do it all.
Thank you.